Alrighty, what is up, traders? My name is Chris and welcome back to today's live recap. If you watched yesterday's stream and thought, damn, those tools crushed it. Well, welcome to the sequel, because today's market, it was a carbon copy. Right out of the gate, same setup, same structure, same outcome, okay? The market dipped off the open, teased a little of a sell-off, and then, just like yesterday, rolled right into tight cyclic territory for the rest of the session, guys. Predictable, tradable, and repeatable, okay? And when the market repeats, we eat, all right? So now here's the kicker, guys. Well, everyone was second-guessing themselves, chasing breakouts that never came, or getting chopped to death trying to trend a sideways market. Our tools, CYMO, PureMO, ScalpMO, read the session like a damn blueprint, guys. CYMO spotted the rhythm. PureMO said, nope, no trend here, stay out. And ScalpMO absolutely carved up the tight cycles with precision, okay? This wasn't luck, guys, not today, all right? Not when you get a repeat of yesterday's session. This was confirmation. What worked yesterday worked again today. And if you're still watching from the sidelines thinking this is all just a well-edited highlight reel, buddy, this is real-time stuff. 2 days, same tools, same outcome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play this bad boy back and see how this all shook out in today's session. And we're going to go ahead and post this on our Discord once we upload it to our YouTube as well, so you guys could replay this bad boy and get some pointers to fine-tune your approach in using these precision tools. Okay, guys? So let's go ahead and dive in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold up, Chris. Aren't we going to see what happened in the last half hour of the session the day before? Absolutely, guys. Before I go ahead and hit this button right here and run this reel, let's go ahead and pause, because this is the same process that we have learned over the last few weeks already, guys, that it's important to pause before the market stops and look in hindsight and find out what happened in the last half hour of the trading session yesterday, okay? So the market hasn't opened right now, right here, guys. I put a little pause because we want to reflect as soon as we get to our desk in the morning. So here we go. This is the last half hour of the trading session of yesterday's market. All right. So can anyone please tell me what you see? What happened right here? Not just with price going down, but how would you interpret when you see price going down with the tools that you have on your screen, guys? Can someone tell me what was happening right here with market structure? Because what we're doing is we're getting a read for market structure right before the market opens. Can one of you guys who actually uses CYMO look at this and tell me what was happening in the last half hour of the session here leading into the open today? Okay, I'll just go ahead and pause it there and let you guys type it up in the comment box, so I can go ahead and see what your answers are, guys. I want to make sure you guys are getting something out of this. Bingo, absolutely. Age got it. Samba Barbie got it. Okay. It was trending. You had a second cycle. Exactly, guys. So here, right at this little juncture, all right, you had price dip down. Okay. Hey, Mike. Good evening, buddy. Welcome back. Glad to have you on board with us today. So if this was the start of the trend to the downside, it reasons to say that this was the beginning of cycle number 1, okay? And this is the last half hour of the trading day yesterday, guys. If that's the beginning of cycle number 1, then this surely must be the end of cycle number 1 here, right when the trend begins, right? So if this is the case, guys, and the market hasn't yet opened, we haven't even gotten there yet, all right? And you're looking at this, what could potentially happen right out of the gate, okay? What could potentially happen right out of the gate? If now price is trending and you've got the formation almost the beginning of cycle number 2 right here, what do you think could potentially happen right out of the gate? Just drop it in the comment box again, guys. Southbound. That's right, Mike. It's gonna go south, guys, because if you already had the beginning of, if you already had the end of cycle number 1, and this bad boy is going down right here, and it's trending to the downside, you've got a very high probability that this thing is gonna open down. Same replay from yesterday. Remember, we went and saw the last half hour of the session, and we said, man, if this happened in the last half hour, this is probably gonna happen right out of the gate in the morning. So let's go ahead and see how this all played out this morning right here, guys, okay? Now, for the sake of illustration, I will take trades sooner than 9:45 in the morning. Typically, in a live session when I'm trading my own account, I'll wait for the first 15 minutes of the session, okay? Let's go ahead and see how this all plays out right here in just a moment. And this will go ahead and fire up in just about a couple of seconds, about 30 seconds. And we will go ahead and run this till about maybe 12 noon or so today. And then I'll go ahead and do some Q&A with you guys. Okay, first bar of the day. Look at that. You got cycle coming down right there, guys. Okay, really, really nice. Okay.
Order filled.
That would be your entry bar right there. If you were looking to take this trade, you got momentum down, cycle down. This is the beginning of cycle number 2 right there, okay? You got the beginning of cycle number 2. We have the same setup we've had week after week, guys. This is no coincidence. This always ends up playing out the exact same way, okay? So Mike here is asking, do you always wait for the next bar before entering? No, not necessarily. But also keep in mind that normally, in a normal session, I wouldn't jump in on the second bar of the day. I'd wait the first 15 minutes of the day to jump in. But since I'm doing this live recap, I jumped in right here only for illustration purposes. But no, I normally, once I see the signal, I hop in immediately. So I don't wait for the extra bar when I'm trading. All right, so let's go ahead and continue this right here, guys. All right. All right, so look at what's happening right here. Trade is getting exhausted, guys. And if the trade is getting exhausted right there, I want to blow out of my trade right there, okay? And this is precisely why I don't jump in at the beginning of the session. Because if PureMO, which is your momentum indicator, is telling you that right out of the gate with this momentum shift, price came in, fell into exhaustion zone right there, how much of a chance do you really think that this is gonna sell off and sell off to the degree where you can actually make money? Look at this, guys. This is probably about as good of a trade that you can get right here. You jumped in, okay, and you had to jump out right here about 3 bars later because, you know, you just came right out of exhaustion zone right there, okay? The purple line tilted up, guys, and that is it, okay, for this downside trade. Another reason why I wait the first 15 minutes of the session right there. And look at what's happening with cycle number 2, all right? Cycle number 2 is just about to fizzle right there. Look at this, okay? Right smack daddy right there, okay? Now, remember the different phases of the trade, guys. You know, you've got the strongest move to the downside, you've got exhaustion, and then it kind of fizzles out right here between here and here, all right? Now, if you're stuck right here in consolidation and you're wondering, all right, what exactly is happening right here? Which way could this potentially go? I just saw the end of cycle number 2. Cycle number 2 typically ends the trend to the downside as we know it, remember? So we had cycle number 1 here in the last half hour of the day, guys. So we had a cycle right here, and we had cycle number 1, trend, cycle number 2, the end of it right there, guys. So if it's the end of it right there, you're probably wondering, all right, well, which direction is this probably gonna turn? And here's something that you guys could actually do to help you kind of get a more macro view of what's happening right here in this zone, you can do this. You can look at your cycle chart right here, all right? And look at what your cycle chart is telling you is about to happen, all right? Let me go ahead and bring this little bad boy up right there, okay? Your cycle chart, guys, is telling you this was the end of the rotation to the downside, okay? And it's telling you that cycle is about to come down. That means price is about to come down right there. Look, you've got momentum coming down right there. You've got cycle coming down right there. And this is on your cyclic chart, all right? But this is kind of giving you a micro view of what's happening right now on the trend chart on your 2-minute time frame, okay? If this bad boy is facing down right here, okay, what do you think is going to happen with price? Well, let's find out, okay? That's pointing down, guys. That is telling you that price right here is going to go down, all right, before it ever goes up. Your cycle's coming down, momentum's coming down, okay? You've got another nice rotation right there to the downside. Now let's just go ahead and follow that. All right, guys, we just had a move right here with cycle to the upside right here, okay? And this is basically telling you that that move is likely gonna be over right there, okay? The moment that cycle comes up above the zero line, that right there is telling you that, hey, price is likely to stall and potentially move up against you right there, okay? This was this second leg of the trade to the downside. Now, if I pause this for a second, because I want to give you guys some perspective, and you look here on your trend chart, you're going to notice that you had the commencement of cycle number 3 right there. Okay, check that out, okay? Cycle number 3 right there. And instead of momentum actually continuing to go up past the zero line, it actually came down. It came down and crossed above the yellow line right smack right there. Okay, that was it, guys. Cycle number 3 is typically, you know, the last component of any long trended cycle. Cycle number 3 is also referred to as a capitulation. Okay, so that is it right there, cycle number 3. And you can see exactly how this whole thing played out a little bit more with more granularity right here, okay, on this 2-minute chart, but with CYMO set to 7, which is half the speed at what I've got it set at over on the trend chart right there. Okay, so let's continue to watch this and see what happens, okay? You got cycle falling, you've got momentum rising right here, okay? We're still not in cycle territory here, but this bad boy really caught the move. Okay, so check this out. Here you've got a pivot trade, okay? So a couple of things that are going on. Let's check them out. You've got a pivot trade right there, and you've got a nice pivot here because you have momentum rising from the bottom as well right there. So keep an eye on that, okay? But look at what's happening here. You've got the beginning of the end of cycle number 3, okay? And I've told you guys many times, whenever price closes inside the VWAP, whenever you have a trend to the downside, that trend is over, guys. There is nothing left in the trend, okay? And cycle number 3 will end the moment it crosses above the zero line right there. So if this is the end of cycle number 3, guys, then I definitely want to position myself to take advantage of that reversal to the upside. Because remember, you had a nice little sell-off, kind of waffled off, sold off again. The people who got caught in this downdraft right here need to cover their positions, okay? And that's what this reversal to the upside is potentially going to be all about right there, okay? So if we have a pivot right here, I don't mind going ahead and taking that to the upside.
Order filled.
Right there. And here's what you need to watch on this. Here's what you need to watch on this chart right here, guys, to decide whether or not you're going to take the trade off right here, okay? Here's what you need to watch. You need to watch your momentum line right here. And if you could tell, your momentum line is about about to go into trend mode right there. Now, I want you to pause for a moment because this next component is really important to give you structure and perspective. Okay, so just imagine you're in a trade, you're up about 600 bucks, you're looking at this right here. You're like, man, the wave line is moving up nicely right there. This purple line is just kind of going sideways right here. And then all of a sudden, you've got momentum going up, but you got cycle going down right here. Let's take a quick peek at our trend chart right here, guys, and look at this, okay? Cycle number 3 ended right here exactly the way we predicted it was going to end right there, okay? And you're right here in the same spot that you were, but on your cycle chart, all right? So check this out. All of a sudden now you've got momentum rising, cycle rising. It's the end of cycle 3. You know that these nutters right here need to cover their shorts, and this is probably going to move up to some degree, but you don't know to what degree, right? To cover their shorts right here. You also have a shift in momentum right here to the upside. Check this out right there, okay? So you got a shift right there in momentum to the upside. So you've got these 3 themes going in your favor right there, but check this out. On your cycle chart, you've also got momentum all the way up here. Could this be the start of a trend trade? Could it be the start of a trend trade to the upside right here, guys? Okay, an early start to the trend trade right here. That, yes, exactly. Nikki Trades nailed it, exactly. And we're going to see exactly how this plays out right here on the cycle chart, okay? And then we're going to compare that to your trend chart to see which of these 2 charts gave you an advance warning that you were about to go into trend mode. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with this, okay? Right here, you've got the inflection point in ScalpMO to the upside, and you've also got purple line right here going up as well too, okay? So now, right here, we've got cycle number 1, okay? This right here would be cycle number 1, okay? Absolutely, Nikki. Be more than happy to schedule a time with you whenever you're free, man. Absolutely. So keep an eye on this, guys, okay? We just had takeoff right here with the inflection point, okay? Right smack right there, okay? And remember, yesterday I told you guys there's typically 2 rotations right here of the cyan line whenever this bad boy gets above the gray box, okay? But look at this, even better. You've got cycle number 1 right there, okay? You've got the beginning of cycle number 2 right here as well, okay? Let me go ahead and get the arrow up right there. Okay, got the beginning of cycle number 2 right there. Now, let me just pause it because we want to check and see what's going on over here. Oh, man, look at this, guys. You can't make this stuff up, okay? Check this out. Right smack right there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something real interesting right now, all right? We're going to bring this bad boy back right here and get my crosshairs over here, okay? Now check this out. This bar at 10:06, and take note of this, at 10:06 a.m., okay, it gave us the signal on the cycle chart that momentum had just gone into trend mode, okay? Right there at 10:06. Okay, keep that in mind. Now we're going to come over here and put our crosshairs right here, okay? This is the 10:06 bar right here where I've got my little blue arrow, okay? This is the exact same bar that the cycle chart told you, hey, we're likely to go into trend mode, okay? This is where the trend chart actually confirms that you're actually in trend mode. 2 different charts, 2 different confirmations calling the trend, okay? How many bars is that in advance? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you guys get that? Okay. The cycle chart just gave you a 7-bar heads up that you were potentially going to go into a trend, guys. All right? Right here. Well, I can't actually get it side by side, but let me go ahead and show you right here, okay? Right there. So you're right there. This is the 10:06 bar, and this is the 10:06 bar right there. You've got confirmation at 10:06 that you were potentially going to go into a trend, and you didn't get confirmation until 10:18 on your trend chart that you really were going to go into a trend. So by looking at your cycle chart here, guys, you're getting an advance warning of whenever price is potentially going to move into a trend, which makes this the prime entry. Because if you remember what I told you guys in the past, okay, cycles always precede trends, okay? And what exactly do you see right here? You see a cycle to the upside, right? We just got done with a nice big trend to the downside. We had a cycle here, cycle 1. Price goes into trend mode right here. We have the end of cycle 2. We had a third cycle right here. And what does this devolve into? It devolves into a cycle to the upside right here, guys. Your job is to try to get into this phase of the cycle as early as possible, okay? Because if you get a 7-bar lead into your trade right here, guys, as opposed to waiting for cycle 1 to actually complete and trying to get in right here when you actually have confirmation that you're in a trend, you're already 7 bars ahead. And that's a huge margin of safety in trading when you're trying to time your positions to get in, okay? Because if you screw up somewhere in the process of your trades, guys, you got a lot more to lose from here coming all the way down than you do from here coming down. Okay, you got a lot more margin of safety right here if you got in over here than if you're getting up here, which is why it's always important to keep an eye on that cycle chart, guys, to give you guys these early indications of when price might potentially be going into a trend, okay? So this is a very good indication right here, guys. Not only that, but coupled with the fact that you had the cyan line right here, right at the cusp at 10:10, telling you, hey, listen, this is probably going to break out, which was 2 bars later. That really is all the confirmation you need, guys, to go ahead and write a deposit slip in advance and take this trade to the upside with absolute confidence. Okay, so now that you're in the trade, what do? Okay, well, there's 2 things you can do. Okay, you can either look at this bad boy right here and count cycle 1, cycle 2, and try to get out at the end of cycle 2, or you can look at your cycle chart and determine whether or not to stay in the trade. So let's go ahead and run this, okay, because I explained this away enough already. And let me just go ahead and put the arrows here. Beginning of cycle 1, end of cycle 1, we've got trend mode right here, and we've got continued upside. You had a shift in momentum to the upside. This bad boy is just going up, okay? That's what it's doing at this point, okay? Now, also keep in mind, guys, that you have this green bad boy coming down right here, this green giant, which is your 80-bar VWAP. You got to be careful with this 80-bar VWAP, okay? Because the moment price ends up smacking that VWAP, what do you have? Price ends up stalling or price ends up reversing. So you got to be very careful of this VWAP right here kind of trending down the way it is, okay? Because if price ends up running up and hitting it, guys, that's game over at that point. Nancy Bob is asking, do you keep those 2 charts side by side when trade? Oh, absolutely. I got 4 monitors on my setup, and I definitely keep that chart right above the trend chart, and I keep an eye on it all throughout the trading day, all throughout the day. We're going to let this whole trade run from cycle 1 all the way to the end of cycle number 2, guys, okay? And we're going to see exactly where it ends, where cycle number 2 ends up, okay? And it looks to me that we're getting the second cycle right there, okay? Cycle number 2, all right? Now you can tell this is already fading. Momentum is already fading, and I can tell you the reason why it's fading, because you have momentum coming back into the fade zone right here, guys, okay? And whenever momentum falls back in here, this is telling you that price is probably likely gonna go sideways, all right? But for the sake of illustration, I'm going to go ahead and run this bad boy till we get the end of cycle number 2 and see where that ends, okay? And boy, oh boy, look at this line. It's getting very, very, very close to price right there. A little bit too close for comfort. And look at, again, the VWAP. It's going right into this gray zone, and it is just going sideways, guys, right there. This bunch of sideways trading, and this looks like it's about to hit the top of the VWAP right there. And I don't mind pulling the trigger once it does. Yeah, that is probably good enough
Order
for me
filled.
right there. I'll take the trade off right there, and that is the end of that upside trade. You can see right here where it hit the VWAP. Right smack right there, guys, okay? And look at what's going to happen with price. That was also, coincidentally, the end of cycle number 2 right there, okay? The end, guys. Hit the VWAP, roll down. What else are you supposed to do at that point, right? I see Quincy asking a question. He says, I'm sorry, that trade at 10:06, I see CYMO pointing up, but what did you see in ScalpMO that said buy? All right, let me go ahead and bring that chart right here, okay? 10:06 right here. You had the wave line going up right here, okay? And the only reason I took this trade here to the upside is because I knew that after a prolonged sell-off that actually started the previous day right here in the last half hour of the trading session, and it continued, and we had 3 cycles, remember, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. Typically at the end of cycle 3, what you normally have is a strong short covering rally, and that's exactly what this represents right here. All of this is nothing but short covering from all the selling that commenced at the beginning of the last half hour of the trading session and continued throughout the morning for at least the first half hour of the day. So somebody's got to cover at some point, and they're going to definitely cover, and price is going to go up right there. So you had a couple of things that happened, okay, while looking at this chart only right here. You had a pivot trade right here, which tells you that there was a shift in momentum and cycle right there with this bar, okay? You also had the wave line, which was right smack here at the 0 line, which was pulling things up, okay? So the wave line right here crossed the 0 line right when I took the trade, but right when I took the trade, not only did the wave line cross above 0, but you also had momentum shift to the upside right there. And that was the key to take this trade to the upside right there. Because if the wave is frankly going up really strong right there, you know the acceleration line is going to follow it right there too. So here you had the acceleration line follow it. Here was the first component of the trade. Remember that there's typically 2 swings with the acceleration line whenever ScalpMO rises above the gray box. So right here where I've got the green arrow, it rose above the gray box. And you could have easily just waited for this bar as well as confirmation that this was going up. This was good enough confirmation, but if you wanted to feel fuzzy and warm, you could have waited right here where I've got the green arrows plotted and taken this trade to the upside as well. So you had cycle 1 right there, and you had the second swing right here, okay? And this second swing right here would have ended right here at this bar. Perfectly nailed the top before it actually continued going sideways. Look at this right there. So that's how I decided to approach it. I felt confidence that this was going to continue moving up. And then we also confirmed it over with the end of cycle number 3 on the trend chart as well. But yeah, the cyan line here was moving up nicely, and it just pulled everything up real super nice. All right, so now we're back here, guys. Okay, we're at this juncture right here. We're in cycle mode right here. What happens at this juncture in time? Okay, let's go ahead and run this bad boy and see if we can scalp any trades using ScalpMO right here. All right, I actually just missed this one right now because I took my eyes off the screen. Okay, that was to the downside right there, and that was the end of this move, this quick little 2-3 bar move to the downside. It was hardly anything right there at all. Okay, now keep an eye on the green line, guys. Okay, whenever this green line enters the VWAP, the lower time frame VWAP, you got to be very careful because price tends to hover and bounce around the VWAP quite often, okay? So you got to keep an eye on this right here, all right? This is right here where the boys and girls are playing. They're trying to figure out, all right, what's going to happen. Sure, you'll have cycle swings just the way you have right here, you know, where cycle goes up, you have momentum going up, you have a pivot here with ScalpMO, but is there any trade that would warrant wanting to take a trade right here? And you got to be very careful because this 80 bar VWAP acts as a magnet to price, okay? And the lower it actually gets from price, away from price, the better, because then you're kind of in a clear zone right there. But anytime it's right here hovering around price, look at this. It perfectly hit the VWAP, this green bar, and everything just kind of rolled back down to the support line right there. And now it's just kind of stuck right there, and nothing is happening, guys. Nothing is happening. You see this right there? You sit in your hands because nothing is really going to happen. Right here, you had a little 1 bar pullback. Wow, big deal. It hit base support, okay? There's not a lot that's going to happen right there, okay? You're not going to get a lot of movement. So let's just go ahead and watch this a little bit and see if there's any opportunities that we can take here with ScalpMO on this. All right, so now it's going down. Green line is going down below the center VWAP right there. Got a little bit of a move up right there in price, but not really. Look at this. I probably missed it. Yeah, this is the, you know, there's not a lot of wiggle room right here, man, to take anything when you're stuck in this channel. So everything's just kind of bouncing around right there, guys. And if you want to see, if you want to get a closer view as to what's going on in there, it's really simple. Just look at your PureMO right here, and look at this. All this, guys, is nothing but consolidation right here, okay? All of it right there, okay? You're in consolidation right there. It's just bouncing off. It's doing nothing. And this right here is telling you that there's probably not enough momentum right here to take any trades either to the upside or to the downside. Might be a good time to just kind of sit on your hands and wait. You can't trade this, okay? These little moves right there, you can't trade them right there. They're really hard to trade. Now you just got a move into exhaustion right there to the upside. Let's see if this bad boy comes down right here.
Order filled.
See if we can try to take a trade there to the downside. Yes, it is set to 9. Got a little bad boy right there. It's coming down. And I don't mind taking that off for a $1,500 clip right there. And I'm going to take this off right here. And the reason I took this off, guys, let me just pause it real quick. Whenever the cyan line is inside the gray box, just remember, okay? Remember that you are in you're cycling, okay? You're really cycling inside right there. And so your exits are always going to be when the purple line crosses over the cyan line right there, okay? On 1022, momentum was above threshold. How do I know? It's not about to trend. All right, I'll get to your question right now. Let me just, I'll finish this up and I'll promise I'll get to your question. Otherwise, I'll lose my frame of thought here and looking at all these things going on right here in the chart. But I promise I'll get to your question. So here we go. Okay, guys, you're back here, and let's see if we have any more give to this trade.
Order filled.
I'll take that to the downside. Saw this bad boy down. This is still cruising down here as well. So went ahead and pulled the trigger on that.
Order filled.
Not a lot of meat on the bone on that one, guys. Right there, probably about 80, 90 bucks, or maybe even a scratch. Okay, and now you've got the inflection point right here. Okay, And this inflection point is your first sign that something might happen in the opposite direction right here, okay? So let's just go ahead and continue watching this.
Order filled.
So I'll take that to the upside right there. And man, that
Order filled.
was super short-lived.
Order filled.
And I wouldn't mind taking
Order
that off
filled.
right there. Okay, you're in exhaustion zone right there. It went from one exhaustion zone to the other right here on top. So it's probably a good time to pull out of that trade. And I'm almost done with this, guys. I promise I'll get to your Q&A questions right now.
Order filled.
That's going to be the end of that right there, which is right there at that bar, okay? And you've got cycle right there coming down, and you've got momentum, bingo, coming down right there as well. And I wouldn't mind taking that for a clip right there.
Order filled.
This bad boy went up.
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
Alrighty, guys, and I will go ahead and pause it right there. Hit the baseline support, and this is probably going to go sideways for just a little bit more right there. All right, so let me go ahead and just kind of blow this up right there so you guys could see it a little bit better. A lot of trades, guys, right there. Perfectly nailed this move to the upside and caught the move to the downside. Alrighty, sounds good. Perfect. So let me see. I've got a couple questions here. So I'll go ahead and post the video up on our YouTube and then post it on our Discord so you guys could watch it again. Let me go ahead and see exactly some of the comments here. Sorry, because it's hard to read comments and trade at the same time. ScalpMO set to 9. Yes. I explained the 10:06 trade already. At 11:22, momentum was above the threshold. Let me go back to 11:22. Right there. Okay, momentum was above the threshold. Yep, it was right there. And I missed that trade. It just moved a little bit too fast for me. How do I know it's not about to trend? So what you can do is you can look at this, okay? So let's go ahead and look at that. That's actually a good observation. Let's go ahead and unpack that right there. So here's your 11:22 move right here, okay? You got this bad boy going up. It kind of does move a little bit, but it moves with not that much conviction. I think it was right there, okay? So let's go ahead and compare this to your trend chart over here, okay, and see if there was anything at 11:22 that would have given you some type of confirmation or confidence that there was a trade to be taken right here. Because the previous trade that we took to the upside, you actually had cycle rising and momentum rising right there when you took the trade, remember? So let me just bring it back. You had this, okay? So let's go ahead and see if there was anything at 11:22 that would have given us some hint that, hey, price is about to take off. And here we go, right here, guys, okay? This is the same 11:22 that Age just pointed out. So essentially, let me just unpack it. What he did is he went and saw the cycle chart and saw that momentum had actually gone above the 0.90 threshold. And he says, well, how do I know that that's not about to trend? If I'm getting a potential early warning on the cycle chart, how do I know if that's potentially going to take off in a trend? You verify. So what you do is you put your cycle chart aside and you come here to your trend chart and look at it right here. This right here where I've got my crosshairs, okay? This is the 11:22 bar that you were looking at right when momentum crossed above the 0.90 threshold, okay? And what do you see happening right here in this chart, okay? Do you see anything happening with cycle or momentum that'll give you an indication that price is about to take off? Remember the previous example that we used, okay? And it was this morning right here when I took the trade to the upside. We had the exact same scenario. On the cycle chart, momentum had just gone above 0.90. But what makes it different than the 1122 timestamp? You notice here that cycle and momentum are actually rising, okay? Kind of confirming the entry to the trade. So if we fast forward to 1122 in the morning, which was right around this bar right here, what did we have? Okay, we had momentum was above zero, but cycle was falling. You see this right here? There was no setup. There was no real setup on the longer setting CYMO that would have told you, hey, listen, the stars are about to align and this might potentially take off to the upside. So that's the key difference between the earlier trade when you actually did see the setup right here, okay? You caught it early, you caught both rotations early to the upside. This is the type of cyclic swing and setup that you want to see on the site on the trend chart right here, okay? Momentum moving up, cycle moving up, to take this trade and get on it early, right before it confirms the trend at 10:18 in the morning, right? What you didn't have right here at 11:22 in the morning, right here, was that setup, okay? You had momentum was kind of hovering just slightly above the zero line, but cycle was going down. You see that? And if cycle is going down, this is probably telling you that the cyclic component of the trade isn't really going to pull price up. It did right here, just a little bit. You see that? But not with a lot of force, okay? There was actually a lot of noise. If you see how the lines are getting a little bit jittery right here, this was actually an area of a lot of noise. And why is it an area of a lot of noise? If you noticed right here at the 11:22 mark, if you come all the way down here to the bottom of the chart, what was PureMO telling you? PureMO was telling you that you were in an area of consolidation right here. You see that? And if you're in an area of consolidation and you don't have momentum in your favor to push the trade up and cycle is going down, this is not a potential setup to go in a trend. Okay, it's not. Okay, versus if you go back here to the morning, you had three things in your favor. You had cycle about to rise above zero, you had momentum coming off its low, and you had a shift in momentum here with PureMO about to go up and take off. Okay, that's the difference. That's the difference between this right here and the 10:22 observation that you made right here. You see? Cycle's going down, momentum is kind of waffling around, and you're in consolidation mode right there. So, good eye for spotting it right here at the 10:22 mark, okay? And it won't happen every time, but when it does, it gets it right. And it'll get you into the trade early. But this is how you confirm whether or not this is really going to take off when it goes above the 0.90 zone. You can confirm that on the trend chart to ensure that the setup is correct on your CYMO and PureMO before you actually pull the trigger. And that was actually, you know what? That was actually a great question, man. So high five to you. Yeah, those are the type of questions I really enjoy getting here. And thanks, man, for bringing that up, okay? All right, guys, you guys saw what this is all about. This is what precision trading looks like right here on a chart, okay? So what are you waiting for? And let's be real, okay? You're not going to find consistency by trial and erroring your way through outdated indicators built in 1986. You want an edge? Here's what you get for zero risk. You get a 7-day free trial, you get CYMO Pro, you get PureMO, you get ScalpMO, you get the dynamic VWAP, you get access to our daily market bot briefing, you get 2 one-on-one sessions to dial in your charts like a pro. Oh, and Dr. Freud, your free 24/7 mindset therapist in Discord. You literally have nothing to lose except another week of missed opportunity, okay? So click the link in my bio and take the trial, guys.